Do not, I repeat, do not put air. Every dollar you spend is an entry towards winning.
I know, weak wheelies. Yeah, he likes it.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But in this video, we're going to talk about this. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Patrick, and today we're going to talk about the ETM RTR by Electro Co. I know it's been a minute since we made some videos, but trust me, we're back at it now. So to talk about this bike a little bit, this is not your traditional electric pit bike that you've seen in the industry so far. A lot of the bikes are manufactured to be as affordable as possible. Now, while this is at an affordable price point, Electro Co did everything they could to keep it at a lower price point, but be as quality as possible. Now, a lot of the times those two things don't mix, but you can see in this bike, it is actually made very good. Electro Co has been at this for many, many years. They've been doing all your standard upgrades for Razors, Mototech, E-Box, and many, many more bikes. Now, while Electro Co has been making a lot of upgraded parts, which is great for you guys, right? You buy a bike, build it from the frame up, or you buy a bike and then you add all these extra parts. Electro Co has also been making bikes for many years. So with that combination of them building bikes and making aftermarket parts to make the fastest possible mini bikes and pit bikes, they've been working on this in the background for quite some time. And Nathan and the owner Austin have known each other for quite some time and have been looking for a good opportunity to work together. So we are happy to bring the ETM RTR to you guys. And this couldn't be a better product to offer from Electro Co. We also now offer a lot of their products on our website. So check it out at redefines.com. And it's currently on a special for $26.99. Retail price is $29.99. Like I said, affordability with quality parts. Here at Redefines, we try and vet all products, meaning we try and get as much information as we can, try and test the products if we can ahead of time before offering them to you guys. We make sure that the companies that we work with are legitimate and offer a quality product. Now, I could sit here and bore you guys with specs and information and all this, but I'll give you two. 8,000 watts, 50 plus miles per hour. So instead of me going over that right now, let's go and ride it. I'll give you some information along the way, and then at the end, I'll break it all down for you.
All right, it's ride time. We are in mode 1, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's go. Let's stop. As you can see, I have 54%. I've been riding this a little bit here and there. I will ride it. I will charge it before we go out on our ride a little bit later today to get those beauty shots. But I just wanted to kind of get a feel for it. So far, it's pretty rad. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a speed limit. in each gear. As you can see, I'm over 30 miles per hour. It should usually switch, so that's pretty rad. Since it's not an e-bike, it doesn't really need to have its limits. This is kind of just meant for, you know, who's gonna be riding it. Figured I'd mess around with it in one, and then I'll pop it into two. Two definitely has a decent amount of torque versus one. Sport mode has a ton more. Since I'm lower on the battery percentage, I'm just gonna stick in one and just kind of cruise. This is probably what you would be using if you're just kind of going a decent distance with some friends, not looking to really like haul and go crazy fast. Ooh, what do we got here? This is kind of cool. Shoo. Little track, pop it into two. Oh yeah, little slide. The brakes are so good on this. I was really surprised. Ooh, little slide, yeah. The frame on this thing is really good. I expected to feel a little bit of flex because I'm 6'3", 200 and I didn't measure myself with the helmet on, but 240 pounds roughly. The tires are way better than I expected. I think I got myself in a predicament. How am I supposed to cross? There we are. Ooh, I guess I'll cross right here. This is gonna be a little fun. Yep. Oh, easy. Easy money. I think this is that park I was headed to. I'm very new to this area, so I don't really know where I'm headed or what. I just figured I'd head towards the park, kind of give you guys an idea of how fun this thing is. It is awesome. I expected this suspension to be super, super soft. I've not messed with any of the settings in the front, and for my weight, I don't think I need to. I'm super surprised, and this is not the direction I wanted to go, so we're gonna go back. But on the rear shock, I stiffened the spring. I just cranked the spring down a little bit, maybe about a half an inch, give it a little bit more of a, it doesn't really give you more spring rate because all you're doing is tightening it, but it makes it a little bit stiffer on the initial hit. Man, this thing rides so good. Look at the amount of leg room I have, right? Here, let me show you. I know people are gonna wonder this because they're tall. A lot of people are tall like me, or there's some guys that like an inch or two taller than that. Look, it doesn't hit my leg at all. It's pretty sick. Me preferably, when I'm standing up, I would like a couple more inches on the handlebar. So maybe like a KLX 110 handlebar from Pro Taper or whoever else makes that high of a bar. Maybe ODI, we have them on the website. We soon will be getting Pro Taper bars on the website, so if you guys need them. The brakes, the distance they are is great. I always set my handlebars up like if you put your hands out like this, that you're like where you're comfortable, like where you're gonna be riding, that should be where your actual levers should be placed. A lot of people put them up like this. When they're up like this, there's a problem. You're riding and you're trying to reach for your brakes, your wrists are gonna get really sore. Also, if you guys are wondering what mount is this is just the Rockform bicycle mount. As you can see, it's super solid. You ain't moving this, and it has enough vibration that it's really good for doing stuff with dirt. And if you have multiple bikes and you don't want to buy a ton of different mounts, that's probably the one to go with. So Rockform mount, it's pretty awesome. As you can see, it's durable. I'll drop it on here. You ain't hurting it. Now it's all dusty. But yeah, check this thing out. It's pretty sick. I'm overly joyed with how nice this bike is. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, it's gonna be nice, whatever. You know, it's a pit bike. I'm big, so I don't really fit on pit bikes as much, but I do. On this, I do. This is great. I have had 2 different pit bikes in the past, Pitzer Pro, and then just some janky Chinese one. Probably shouldn't have bought, but it was fun for the time. Applause to Electro Co. This is sick. This is obviously pre-production. In the production, you'll get a different chain. I'm pretty sure this is probably starting to already get loosed. A little bit, not bad. But this is probably as loose as you want it. Just an FYI. Any looser than that, you need to adjust it. It has traditional motorcycle style chain adjusters, which is pretty sick. And the attention to detail on, like, they put their logo on everything. The only place I haven't found it is on the swing arm, but underneath here, if you ever pull this off, there's a logo. I don't know if you guys can see that. On the back of every plastic, there's a little E&C logo. Obviously, this is the logo I'm talking about. They're all over. Big props for the stainless steel normal size brake lines. That is very abnormal in the e-moto world. What I'd love to see is just a standard banjo, because then we could do colored brake lines very easily. We will have shortly, not as of the filming of this, but we should have all this, the factory replacement parts, so plastics, brake pads, tires, all that type of stuff. I am gonna get working on getting 12-inch tires and 14-inch tires, these sizes, or maybe, yeah, we could definitely run a wider rear one if they make a wider rear tire, which this is a 80-112 and the front is a 60-114. Now I'm at 35%. I'll probably start heading back right around 20, and then we'll do some city riding in a little bit. Clear, clear. Good. Yoo! This thing is so much fun. There's a trail that way. Let's go. Now I'm not ripping on this thing super hard because I am a little low on battery, so we'll do that a little bit later on. Oh yeah, brakes are great. Brakes are awesome. Touch back on the frame. The subframe is super rigid, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Like, I'm very surprised I don't feel any type of flex when I'm on it. This is sprung for a 185-pound rider, so anybody over that weight, it's not necessarily sprung for you, but obviously it works for me. If you've seen any other videos coming out with a comparable brand that we may or may not have on the website, if you watch the people sit on that bike, the bike's not even going to be available for well over a month or two. If you watch it, they sit on it, it sags super hard, and I weigh probably 50 more pounds than said rider. So this thing doesn't, not at all. Oh, thanks, she waved. I didn't even wave at her yet. Really loving Arizona, guys. One thing I am not good at on this thing yet is wheelies. Need to practice. Ooh, not even high enough. But I am very rusty. I haven't ridden an e-moto since before I moved, which is over a month ago. Because if you don't know, my E-Ride Pro was stolen. I know, sucks. Let this truck pass. I will get this down. If I spend an hour at this, I will have it, no problem. And I know you're like, just put your foot down. No, that creates a habit, a bad habit. So as you can see, if I sit on it, it doesn't really sag that much. Now, can I bottom it out? Maybe. It might, but it's hard to say. All right, sport mode. Woo, a little squirrely. Not much of a hit there. The wheel spins, but that's about it. Oh yeah, this thing's so much fun. Oh, almost fell over. Just a little kid, don't mind me. Little kid in an adult body. Oh, it's all right, guys. I will get better. I promise you. I just need more than, 5 minutes of actually trying. The brakes do work really good. Now, the big thing that people are going to want to know is how accurate is a speedometer. All right, I'm going to try and stay upright so we won't, and we're at 37%, so this isn't a true speed test, but this way you guys can kind of get an idea if the speedometer is right. So I'm going to try and keep my head where it needs to be. I would say that is very accurate. Now, remember, since I'm at a low percentage, I'm in sport mode, I'm not gonna get its full power, right? 30%, I'm only able to reach 40 miles per hour. But I will get it fully charged and I will get a better idea for you guys on what a true top speed is. I'll have to find a flat closed road that I can, pay to close. Oh, I need to go up there. Let's go cruising speed, 18, 17. It is very accurate. Let's get up a little bit higher mile per hour, like 20. It's pretty accurate, guys. I would say whatever you see on your speedometer, as long as you haven't changed your tires or your sprocket, that you're gonna be right within a mile per hour. You have these things right under it, no problem. One thing I do love is not having the display here. Having this nice and tucked away is awesome. When I get bigger bars, I may actually flip this and put it right here so I can push the bars a little bit more forward. Oh, this thing is so fun. I'm really surprised I'm not bottoming out non-stop. I'm gonna get this thing on the charger and then go for some more riding.
All right. Hold on. Quick commercial break. This is brought to you by us, RevRides.com. I want to let you guys know now until the end of January 2025, we are offering every dollar you spend is an entry towards winning an Alta Sigma. Yeah, an Alta Sigma. Pretty dope bike. Actually kind of looks like the larger version of this. Just click on the button up there or the link down below and it'll take you to that giveaway. It'll give you all the information on how you enter, all the rules and regulations. So hop on over to the website right now, buy anything or enter for free, and let's just get back to the video. To rip. I'm down here on Oak Street,
in Phoenix. And I have Nick and Liv behind me. Whoa. Try mode 2. It's a lot snappier, but nobody cares about mode 1 and 2. Let's go sport mode. This thing is so torquey, it is wild. So much fun. Check this out. We got all sorts of cool stuff. So many cool little spots. Let's see how fast she goes. 42, 45, 47. So I have Nick on the Osmo and Liv way back there. Nick is getting these beautiful rolling shots right here. And he's showing me around the Phoenix area. Say Phoenix is pretty beautiful. Dude, this thing is crisp. I don't see a point in riding it in 1 or 2. I think sport is the way to go. It's a lot more fun, really zippy. For me personally, since I'm over 6 feet, I think I would want a little taller bars, maybe an inch or 2. One thing I will say is the suspension. While I can, if I really try, almost bottom it out, it still feels really good. On the display, there is no buttons. The throttle response is awesome. Like, watch. Feels really good. And the brakes feel great. I'm not like super confident to wheelie it yet. I am just not good at wheeling pit bikes, guys. Holy. Bad boys, what you doing? What you doing? Oh, we'll wait for the police officer to go. It doesn't stink bug super bad like if it was like back like here. You know, you sit up here so it doesn't sag super hard, which is kind of great. I'd say if you're above 6'3", it could get a little uncomfortable. You'd probably want some drop pegs. I'm just part of traffic, guys. Just a normal everyday vehicle, just really small. one time I feel like a small human is on this small bike. It's kind of great. I'm always the big guy. Diesel, brother. Smell of diesel in the afternoon. That's what I'm talking about. Does it look weird if I'm all out like this? Just need to get a little practice on this. I want to do some wheelies. I feel like a celebrity. I got my own camera crew. So this is what I'm told is the entertainment district. That is sick. Full speed chicken and ribs. Interesting. One thing I did notice is the motor has a good amount of noise, which I prefer. I prefer when these electric vehicles make a little bit of noise, because when you pull up on somebody, it's better to be heard than to not in a lot of cases. Now, I'm not talking about sounding like a 450 or anything, but just a little bit of noise. Wish I could wheelie. Look at the booties. Is this weird? Oh. That's funny. She might be following.
All right, what'd you guys think? It's a pretty dope bike, right? This is a pre-production bike. So there's a little bit of tiny little things all over this that are slightly different. From the little nub on the bottom of the seat has a different coating on it, to a bunch of little tiny things. But for the most part, I would say like 95% roughly is what you see that you'll get when it comes out of the box. Upcoming, we'll do a box to road, which is an unboxing that we do and just shows you how to put the bike together, any tips and tricks on any type of assembly. So when you get your bike, you'll know how to get it ready to hop on the road, AKA the dirt. So maybe we should call it box to dirt for this one. Now, a lot of you have probably already been typing in the comments asking, is it upgradable, or that's cool bike, but I'd rather have my Razor because I can upgrade it and make it way faster, or I've spent almost the same amount of money on my Razor or my e-box and it's way faster. But is it? Maybe we'll have to do a video on that. A Razor or a e-box with equivalent aftermarket parts. We'll have to think about that. I don't know how you're gonna keep the front wheel on the ground. It barely stays down as it is. So maybe we should reach out to Electro Co and see about maybe a couple inch longer swing arm. Now this has aftermarket parts, from a controller to a motor to two different battery sizes. So a total of 3 battery sizes. The stack, the 25 amp hour, a 35 amp hour, and a 45 amp hour. I would say roughly 15 to maybe up to 20 kilowatts we may see out of 130 to maybe 140 pound bike when you add the bigger battery. 20 kilowatts, 18 kilowatts, somewhere in that range, I would say. That's pretty crazy. I know there are some supermoto wheels in existence that you can use on other bikes. They will not fit on this bike, so don't buy them unless it says it's for the RTR, okay? I wanna save you guys all, you know, $250 to $500 on wheels or more. So you gotta make sure that the wheels that you get will work with the RTR. After this, I'm gonna be getting a hold of Warp 9 to see if they're gonna potentially offer some wheels for this, which would be killer to have wheels in all sorts of different colorways, right? I was ripping it around neighborhoods and on some streets and stuff. This is not street legal. So take on the risk yourself to understand where you should be operating this, where it's within the rules of the road and your city and state. Now, if you're hopping on freeways and stuff like that, I would not suggest that at all, because while you may be able to upgrade and go the speed, you're too low to the ground. It's not legal. Just don't do it. This is a dirt bike. It's meant for the dirt. And sure, ripping around your neighborhood and stuff like that. Just respect the rules of the road. If you're gonna operate it where you shouldn't, understand that you could get it taken away from you by the police. Now, I don't know what the exact amount of range is on this yet because I have not done a full range test. I anticipate there's gonna be a bunch of channels that do that. It's not something that we will focus on any of these bikes. Maybe in the future, once we get a little bit more time to do things like that, because it obviously takes a good amount of time. But they're saying roughly 25 miles worth of range, which makes complete sense. 25 amp hour battery, not always, but pretty usually you should be able to get roughly the amount of miles to the amp hours of your battery. Now, while this bike is tiny and it only weighs 130 pounds and I can literally lift it up, it's not meant for children only, right? It's not just meant for your kid. If you're 6'3" and 240 pounds, like me, and then add another 5 to 10 pounds with gear, this seat does not sag very hard with my build on this. To most people, you won't look like a giant on this bike. And for you guys that are gonna be riding it around your neighborhoods and stuff, you're less likely to have a Karen or somebody be like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that, versus a larger e-moto. But remember, like I said and have said and will continue to say, this is not a street legal bike. It's not meant for the street. Do as you will. All right, let's talk about specs. This bike has a tubular steel frame design. It has a steel swing arm. The subframe, for all you guys that like to do wheelies or you guys like to crash a lot, the subframe is removable. Now, while some people might complain about the swing arm being steel, it is super stout. You're not bending this, you're not gonna damage this thing. It is a beast. And the fact that the motor is inside of the swing arm completely protected, you're not gonna have to worry about banging it off of anything. Now, for its competition, I say competition very lightly because there isn't really anything that can compete with this on the market as of right now. The foot pegs and the placement of them is a lot more comfortable than a lot of other things that are out there because you have a little bit more seat to foot peg height, especially for somebody that's taller. It works very well. It does have 2 positions for the foot pegs. I've said it before, it weighs 130 pounds, has a 48% distribution of weight in the front versus 52 in the rear. Has a 44.5 inch wheelbase, which tends to be a little bit longer than its competition that's out there. So it keeps the wheel a little bit more planted with the equivalent amount of power versus the power in a lot of the other mini / pit bikes. The seat is quick release with a little latch under here. The first few times of putting this on, you'll have to give it a pretty good force and latch it on. But once you ride it a few times and the seat is on there, you'll start realizing that each time gets a little bit easier. Plus you'll kind of learn how easy it is to push on. You kind of gotta push it from right here. Wheels and tires, we have 14-inch in the front, 12 in the rear, which is what some people call a mullet setup. So the front tire is a 60-114 and the rear is an 80-112. It has 8,000 watts of peak power, which is 11 horsepower. So to kind of understand this, if you're not in the electric world and you're trying to understand other pit bikes, if you have like a 140cc pit bike, this is probably quicker and faster. If you're coming from maybe a little bit of street riding, a Honda Grom has less than 7 horsepower to the rear wheel. So maybe that is helpful for you guys to understand the amount of power without getting to ride it yet. With the 3 selectable levels like you saw in the video, it still had enough torque in the lowest setting to kind of bring the front wheel up, which was pretty cool. It wasn't to the point where you're like gonna flip over backwards. It also has a very smooth throttle compared to a lot of the other brands out there. Some of the brands you'll get on, you'll just barely touch the throttle and it just kind of snaps your neck. Now, for you guys that ride other e-motos like Surons, Talarias, E-Ride Pros, Altis, whatever is out there, you're trying to probably understand, well, okay, 8,000 watts, that's not very much power, like if you have an E-Ride Pro SS, right? Because it's 12 kilowatts. But I would say from a dig, this would be very competitive with the E-Ride, and especially in like tight trails. If you're a good rider, I bet you could outride your buddy on his E-Ride Pro SS because it's smaller and it's very nimble. Now the Suron had 6,000 watts or less depending on what Suron, whether it's a Light BX or a Light BS. Light BS would be the most comparable, and it's still more expensive, but pretty close to the same price point, and it's very gutless. And then I believe the Talaria MX3 has roughly the same amount of power as this. And then the Talaria XXX has the same, if not a little bit more. And both those bikes are considerably more money than this, even on the second-hand market. Some of you may have already commented, yeah, but it's just another version of another bike or something like that. This bike is completely not any other bike. So if you saw some little thing that had some sort of likeness that was like this bike or whatever, trust me, this is not a remake of any bike. This is completely ground up. There was nothing. Then they made a frame. They made every single piece on this, and they looked at every detail. For example, this little piece here on the seat, they didn't need to do this. This could have just been missing. Why did they do this? Because they wanted the fit and finish of this entire bike to be perfect and great. This bike should cost well over its $3,000 price point. It should be at bare minimum 3,500 bucks, in my opinion, because in comparison, for $3,000, the only thing that is close, and the fit and finish is good, but is a completely different bike. It's bigger. And just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's more money, right? Is the Mantis X. That's a good bike, but completely different scenario. So there's no pit bike that's electric currently on the market that is available to buy as of right now, filming this video, that is as quick, as fast, has the range of the RTR. Now, the day after I make this video or months after the video and you guys are commenting, oh, well, there's this bike, but is it, if anything has come out, is it really better than this? Look how good these plastics are. Go tap on your rear fender, go tap on your front fender. Does it have that rigidity and still flex? Is the frame as nice? Does it have DOT brakes? You can't beat this bike. When you're putting this bike together, you will notice little tiny ENC logos on everything, meaning they made every part of this. Like I said, the second you look at this bike in person and you take it for a rip, you will understand what I'm saying. This bike is the best in its class. Since I talked about the brakes, they are DOT fluid. It comes with DOT3 fluid in it. Now, some of you may be like, oh, you should be using .5.1. Well, before you even try and change that fluid, don't, because the second you mix .3 or .4 with .5, it will turn into a gelatin. So please don't do that. You can mix .3 and .4 together perfectly fine. Doesn't cause any issues. .4 has a higher boiling point. In the e-moto industry, the brakes are subpar at best. Until recently, they're starting to get better. Electro Co knew that, and especially in the pit bike world, the brakes just haven't been enough even for these little bikes. They'll work, but they just aren't good. So I anticipated the same thing. So I was like, okay, what brakes can I upgrade to, bro? you don't need to upgrade them. Trust me. I'm big, I'm heavy, I'm tall, and it will mousetrap me, it'll flip me over the bars, no problem. The piston size inside these brakes are very large in comparison to the mountain bike style brakes that have been on all these e-motos for the past, what, 6 years. I was gonna put a set of like TRPs on it and run it that way or something else. But no, don't. There is no need at all, especially from being DOT stainless steel brake lines. Show me an e-moto on the market that has stainless steel brake lines and I'll show you a $5,000+ price point. All the lines that are on all these bikes and have been are like a nylon line, and you're running mineral oil, which boils at a very low temperature compared to even DOT3 fluid. If you want to upgrade your brakes and you find that you're boiling them because you're doing wheelies forever, even with DOT3 fluid, upgrade to DOT4, like some RBF 600, and you will never, ever have issues. The other great thing about the brakes is most have a sensor that either activates the cutoff or maybe triggers a brake light. These don't have that. That is awesome. So you don't have to cut a wire, you don't have to unplug something, nothing. So you can do burnouts, you can pop wheelies, you know, be dragging the brake and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about any of that type of stuff. Also, with some manufacturers, even manufacturers that we sell, if you disconnect that brake sensor, it voids your warranty. So if you have a bike that you haven't necessarily modified yet, you may want to check and see if you voided your warranty, because you probably have if you do wheelies. You can charge the battery from the bike, you can take the seat off and charge it from there, or you can pull the battery out and charge it separately. And to touch back on this again, there is a 35 amp hour and a 45 amp hour battery readily available right now. Important thing that everybody wants to know, 1 to 4 hours charge time. How long does it take to put together? An hour or less. Probably didn't even take me an hour. The thing that took a long time is putting the stickers on, putting the decal set on. That took well over an hour because I wanted it to all look really good and really precise. Warranty, 30 days on manufacturer defects, 6 months on powertrain. That's a limited powertrain warranty. Aftermarket parts, if we don't have them on the site right now, we will have them soon. Feel free to email us and go to the contact us page on the website. From Supermoto wheels to brake pad upgrades to different handlebars to the controller, motor, and battery, check out revrides.com. Now, the controller that's in this is based upon the EMX kits. Now, if you're not familiar with the EMX kits, you can hop on the website and check them out, but it's a controller that can handle all this power. It's not maxed out as it is. Now, don't worry your little head. If you want more power, the TrueMoto controllers are available. But trust me, how it is, you probably won't need it. And what puts the power to the rear wheel is the IPM motor that Electro Co had produced for them for this bike. One thing I thought was really rad is they put a display on, and it's not like some of the other ones where it's right next to your hand to where you have a really good chance of hitting it and or breaking it. The display is right in front of you where you can see it. I think likely you could probably swap it to have it in here if you wanted to, or you could build a bracket to have it there, but I'm pretty sure you could probably just move it there, especially if you're somebody that has the bars a little bit more forward. I think you can swap it around. Don't take my word on it, I haven't tried it yet. Let's talk about suspension, front and rear. The front, 43mm stanchions, completely adjustable, and they are not something that you can just get right off the shelf. It has custom-made triple trees, custom-made front forks, all made for this bike. It is not something that you can buy from AliExpress or Alibaba. If you see something that looks similar, it's not the same. From valving to all the parts that make up this front and rear suspension, it's all Electro Co, all designed by them from the ground up. There is a rear shock that is adjustable. There is an adjustability on the bottom. You can obviously adjust the spring rate as well by just twisting the collars. I'm pretty strong, you may not be able to. You'll want to get a spanner wrench to be able to adjust that. Now, there is a valve on the top. And I want to mention this before you go any further. Pay attention to this if you're interested in suspension and setting up your suspension. Whatever you do, do not put air in that valve. That was set up for cavitation. I'm not going to explain to you in this video what cavitation is. Do a quick Google search. Do not, I repeat, do not put air or nitrogen in that valve. Okay, I've said my part. So what do you guys think? Do you like the RTR? Is it something you're gonna pick up for yourself? If so, drop a comment down below and let me know who you're buying it for and why you're buying it. I wanna give a big shout out to Austin from Electro Co for working with us to release this bike with them and bringing us on as a dealer. We are very grateful and we are in love with this bike. Austin, be proud of what you built because this thing's amazing. So now you know it's upgradable. Now you know all the specs, all the information. Drop your thoughts down below. Who are you gonna buy it for? Yourself, your wife, your girlfriend, your kid, your grandma, maybe your grandfather. Maybe you have a really smart dog and he knows how to ride a motorcycle. If you do, let me know. Now, I know you guys have noticed the difference in the background. So I'll touch on that really quickly because I'm sure some people have asked or you're wondering. This is a different location. This is not in Vancouver, Washington. This is Phoenix, Arizona. We are opening up a shop in the Phoenix area. When? That is to be determined. Where? Same thing. So give us a little bit of time. We're working on a bunch of stuff in the background. And thank you so much for all you guys have done to support us, whether it's suggesting us to friends, giving us a great Google review, or just letting somebody on the team know how much you appreciate us, because we appreciate you. For you guys that want to test ride this or at least see it in person, it will be in the Vancouver store by the end of December, beginning of January, for you to come in, sit on, and take a look at. If you're in the Phoenix area, I will be trying to head out to some of the electric rides from, you know, the Arizona Suron and a bunch of the other groups. So look for me out there. Come on up and talk to me. I'll let you sit on it and check it out. And to wrap this video up, don't forget the Altus giveaway is live until the end of January. For every dollar you spend on the website, gets you an entry to win. Also, there is a way to enter for free. Just go to revrides.com and you'll find all the information that you need. And don't forget, if you're ever in the Portland metro area, swing by the shop and come and ride with us. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.